Hi! For today's Project Life, Project 365 layout, I'm going to be doing a 2-week, 2-page layout, and I'm scrap lifting myself. This is a 2-page layout that I did back in 2010. It has lots of little everyday photos with some brief captions. The pages are mirror images, and they're sort of flipped in terms of design. For example, I have the title in the upper right corner on this page, subtitle lower left corner on this page, and vertical elements that also mirror between the two pages, as well as some brads and buttons that do the same thing. Since I'm going to be scrap lifting this page, I haven't done a sketch, but I'll show you one at the end, and we'll attach it to my blog post if you'd like to follow it. I want to do a similar arrangement, but I'm going to update it with some newer products. Here are my photos. I've gone ahead and printed these out on an 8.5 by 11 sheet. Many of them are very small, but those are fine images for the types of things that I'm covering. In a few cases, I've gone ahead and added some captions as I was doing the printing. I'm probably going to do a bit more journaling on my version this time than I did a few years ago. A page like this is easy for me to pick tons of product and spend a lot of time figuring out what product I want to use. So this time I'm challenging myself to weed through my product fairly quickly. I've pulled out several 6x6 and then one 8x8 paper pad. Those are great sizes for this type of layout. I'm going to go through them one time, pull out a few papers, and set the rest aside. I've got two different chipboards that I may work with, the light one and a dark one, just depending on which one's going to work best color-wise. For the background paper, since this is a 2-page layout, usually with those I do cardstock. And I have one color of cardstock set aside as a possibility, but I also have some pattern papers where I had 2 pages of the same pattern paper that came out of packs. And so there again, I'm not sure which one I'm going to use. I'm going to let my other papers be my guide as to which will be the best background. For embellishments, I've pulled some ribbons as I normally do, but I want to modernize my layout from a few years ago with some of the wood embellishments and some washi tapes. So I went through my stash and just did a few colors, because I know these are probably going to be my basic colors based on the photos. Okay, so far I've done twice what I said I was going to do. I actually went through the paper pads 2 times. That's pretty good if I can keep it to 2. And I ended up picking about a dozen papers instead of a half dozen papers. Again, that's not too bad for me. This stripe from October Afternoon I found fairly early, and this has a lot of the colors that I already had in mind. So I'm working with it, and then I pulled some other colors to go with it. And it became apparent very soon that this solid blue paper from Stampin' Up! Marina Mist cardstock was definitely going to be the best color for the background. Now I'm ready to trim my photos. Whenever I do a photo collage like this, I try to line up the top edges of at least some of the rows, so that will make cutting apart easier. Okay, I've been playing with my grids. I think this is fun. It's kind of like doing a puzzle, and some things just fell into place exactly how I would like them to be, and I haven't moved them, and other things I've moved around a little bit. The thing that's still bothering me is this photo that's sort of sticking up here by itself. I've got actually 15 photos for 2 weeks, so I could take one out, but I don't really want to. I've thought about switching it over here, but I like this long piece. This fits better, but I like the elongated piece going out this way, because I'm going to have my title and maybe some embellishment up here, and then down here I'm going to have my journaling and some embellishment probably in this corner. So I haven't come up with a better arrangement. The only thing I've thought about doing was pulling this one down a bit. So this kind of sticks down and this kind of sticks up and has an offset there. I needed to have some room up in this area for my title anyway. There's going to be some small stickers to finish the title right above it, and I'm going to put it on the yellow paper and probably put the stripe here, and then also do the stripe down in this corner too to balance, and have a lot of color in these corners with some reds and yellows in here, and then do the blue more on the diagonal. And so I'm going to have embellishment over here. Actually, I think how I'm going to solve my problem with this photo sticking up is I'm going to move these up. And that gives me a little bit more room in here to go with the extra space I have over on this side. Well, I have changed the background color. Once I started playing with papers, it very quickly became obvious that the blue background just wasn't working with these papers. I needed something with some contrast. So I went with a neutral. And what I did was take each I sort of divided the photos into kind of a visual section, what I thought could be grouped together in terms of a background paper, and just measured them, added a little bit to the measurement so that I didn't short myself on any of the papers, and then kind of laid each one out with the blue going through here and then the bolder colors, warm colors around on these corners. I remembered these stamps that I have. This is from Hero Art, and it's this home stamp set, and I think that these house images will go really well with the theme of the page, so I'm planning to use those as an embellishment when I get further along. At this point, though, it's time to glue some things down. When you're working with this many papers, it gets annoying after a while when they start moving all over the place, and this is too big for my magnetic mat. So the way I do something like this is just start with a section, pick a section, and then start gluing. And I decide, first off, is there anything that I'm going to pop up with pop dots? And I'll probably pop up this photo of the two of us, maybe the pictures with people in them, and really the others just go ahead and lay them flat, and then I'm going to have some washi tape and some other things filling in here. And I want this aligned on the bottom edge of this photo so that they can go together with the rest of the pictures. And then these two aligned at the top of this piece of paper, and then I'll trim it down as needed. Okay, I'm looking for any empty spaces within the whole two-page spread. And one thing I'm noticing is way over here on the right side, I have a lot of background. So I think I'm going to slide this red box with our photo out, and that'll make it a little bit more prominent, and tuck another piece of red paper in there. So a little variation, but still that same color scheme. And that'll make this side a little bit more even once I've trimmed what's over on this side down a little bit. The other area that's really empty is down here at the bottom. I'm going to split the stripe paper so it goes over the two pages, but I need something in here, so I'm going to be looking for some paper to go here, maybe one of the yellows, or maybe even another blue to go right there. So I'm going to be looking at that, and then also I'll be filling in some of these spaces with the embellishments. The other thing I want to do is add some distress ink to the outside edges of everything before I glue down the sections. So I don't have to distress all the paper. So a lot of these seams are going to be covered up with washi tape and bumped up against each other, but these outside edges, and I think I may go ahead and round the corners of the very outside edges. That one, and then I'll do the same thing down here in the lower right hand corner. For my key embellishment, I stamped those home images on the designer papers. I tried coloring them. They were just way too busy. They looked better just as outline images. And a lot of times I find black inks don't always stick really well to designer paper. And so I did these with embossing powder, and because that Versamark will stick to pretty much anything, and with the embossing powder that worked fine. The only thing that I did, I was working on this late in the evening, is I've got a little bit of black embossing powder there where I don't want it. So I'm going to be sure and cover that section up with the embellishment because I didn't have any more of that paper to redo. And now as I start to work on embellishments, let's lay out some things I know I want. I'm going to put a heart up here in that place that needs covering, and maybe some ribbon there too. And I'll put another corresponding heart down here. I'm going to do a couple of stickers down here behind this for the date. So let's see. So I'll write my date on. I've got a number of ribbons that I'm going to be playing with. That's going to be too much. Let me just do a little bit horizontally. I'm just kind of laying things out and seeing what I like. My favorite trim of all time is this little pom-pom fringe that Stampin' Up! Had a couple of years ago. I have a whole extra roll of this yellow that's going in a giveaway in February of 2013, so be sure and check my blog for the giveaway. It'll be coming up in just a couple of weeks. Be part of a package of other things. So yeah, I really like that there. I could put it here. And this is where I spend time piddling. So I'm going to do a bit of that and film pieces of it so you can kind of see my process. I will say one thing about washi tape. I put one piece of washi tape down, and it's a good thing I liked it there because it stuck and didn't peel up. And washi tape almost always peels back up. It was not the tape. This was a new tape to me, and I thought it was the tape at first. It was not the tape. I experimented with this particular matte paper, the photo paper I'm using from Epson, with some of my other washi tapes, and it's all washi tapes. Everything that sticks to this photo paper is stuck. So as I apply washi tape, I have to be sure that that's where I want it to go. Also got some rub-ons that I know I want to use. This will carry the black down from the top down here to this corner, and also some of the design from the stamped images down. The thing that's making the most difference is these brads. I laid them out a moment ago, and I couldn't believe the difference that a few brads would make in tying all these ribbons together. To me, that really pulls things together and also shows me where I might still have a little problem. I like this trim, but there's just too much of it. So I'm going to shorten that piece down. And this red trim, I want to use a little bit of it over here. This is the last of this trim that I've got. It's just this tiny little bit. But it works really well here, and I think, yeah, add something to finish it. So mostly I just went in and matched things where I had put a bunch of yellow chevron. I made sure I put some down here, balanced out the use of the arrows so that I could fill everything in. The only trouble spot I really had was this space right in here. I had left extra room to sort of push everything out on the right, and I thought I would fill that in maybe with some other embellishment, but nothing seemed to work vertically, so I ended up adding another piece of pattern paper. It's the back side of one of the papers I'd already used. Here's our finished page. I added a few more of those Pebbles rub-ons that I have here, up here underneath hibernating. And I've repeated my ribbons, my red ribbon here, and on the other side, the stamped embellishments. A little of the yellow ribbon and green also repeated on the other side of the layout, with the warm colors in the two corners and the blue and green colors going through the middle. I got 15 small photos included, and used washi tape and some wood embellishments for a little more updated accent to my page from 2010. Thanks for joining me today. I love to get feedback, so please leave comments on things you liked, things you didn't, and I'll try to incorporate what I can into future videos.